Conversations with halos is kind of jolting. The foundation is strong because Jehovah built it. You can feel the spirit and positive energy. Questions asked comfortably like you're talking with family. Get ready to settle in. Wait for the show to begin. Invite a couple of friends. It's time for Unhinged.
I introduce to you Get You Home Towing, a family company with the sole purpose to get you home. Whether you need roadside assistance or transport services, we have a flatbed big enough to transport any vehicle to its destination. Our offer to you is our gratitude and great service at a much cheaper price. We are also open to transport through long distances. If you need us, all you have to do is call that number. I'll see you soon.
Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing out there? Oh, you hearing a new voice. I know today. It's your girl, Karen Ann Sims-Harrell here, and I'm doing a little bit of a takeover, but behind the scenes, and so we're going to get into that. But as always, we like to greet you all, those who are joining us this evening, and those who will be on the replay. We are so glad that you decided to grab your passports, and if you don't have them, you got 10 seconds to get your passport because we are going literally to multiple destinations this evening. So, as always, we give you the rundown of the show. We've got a hot one for you today. Why? Because we are going to be introducing a new guest today to the tribe in the name of Dr. Mia McNeil, and talk to her about her venture with Hello Healing Network. And then as we get into our what's really going on, we always want to remind you all and get you acclimated with different tribe members that we have. So we got a special guest. We're going to save that for later. But as we proceed to give you what you need, we want to remind you of our super fan shout out. And now I'm going to share the microphone. I'm not going to hog it this evening, but since I'm behind the camera and no one can see me tilted, this is kind of a sort of semi-anonymous, mischievous place that I'm in, because I could be doing whatever behind this camera and nobody could see it. That's really all I'm going to say about that right now. But I'm going to check in with you and ask you, what's really going on? How are you doing?
Girl, I'm out here shining and surviving out here in these Lehigh Valley streets. Happy Tuesday to you, co-host who has no face on tonight. I see a cute little picture here. I'm grateful that it looks just like you. But I'm wondering, why are you behind the scenes tonight, Karen? Can you share? I don't want to tell all your business. You know how I do.
Well, I took a trip and took a trip to see my dentist. And in years past, we would never probably consider our dentists gangsters. But clearly mine is one, because after sitting in the chair for one thing, I think the first night was fine. The second night was okay. And then that third night, though, I looked like Martin when he was in that fight. Was it with Holyfield? I can't remember who that fight was, but he had all the lumps and bumps. So I'm over here bruised up with a black eye. And, I know my tribe. If I come on camera looking like this, they're going to send out the GPS and the bat signal, and there may be threats on my husband's life. So I'm trying to keep him out of it because he had nothing to do with what I look like. So I want to let the tribe know he is taking good care of me to make sure that I get back to health. But you know how rumors get started. So I don't want nobody to take a screenshot and be going to call 911 with a screenshot. So we just gonna stay behind the camera, and I'm already black, but the black and blue, it ain't really a look that I want to have on my face. Maybe my attire and my accessories, I'm here for that. But yeah, so we're going to roll with it on the back end, let everybody know all is well. I don't want no situations. So that's all we're gonna say for that. So
You don't want no problems, huh?
I listen. I'm an entire problem all by myself, so he don't need no more. That part. He don't
Well,
need no more.
I'm sure you noticed. I just looked out the window, and we have guests, and we got that good home training over here at the
Oh yes, oh
platform.
yes.
So I gotta get into it.
Uh-oh.
First of all, I want to. Wait! Thank God it's lovely outside, so I don't have to worry about our guests being chilly on this evening.
For
I
sure.
gotta go ahead and get into that super fan shout out this week, Karen.
Please do.
It was a whirlwind of a weekend. And I had the awesome opportunity to spend some time with some of my sistren down at Lehigh Valley Fashion Week 2024. Yo, Karen, can I get that drum roll, please? Tonight's superfan shout out goes to none other than Her Highness herself, Queen Barbie Cologne. Yes, that's right. I am celebrating you tonight, sis. Yes, clap it up. She is worthy of celebration for so many different reasons. I've had the opportunity to associate with Barbie in the many different circles where our different giftings collide. And this weekend, she was celebrated as a master stylist at Lehigh Valley Fashion Week. Now, not only is she like Miss Style Creator Innovator, she is a hostess extraordinaire. And one thing I admire about you, Barbie, is your grind. You grind with so much grace, baby. Anybody who's ever sat in your presence has no choice but to leave encouraged and empowered. So I'm celebrating you tonight, Barbie. And in this moment, I just want to go ahead and share that Barbie is actually hosting a karaoke brunch. And this one has a theme. It's Janet Jackson, okay, Escapade. And they're actually having a giveaway. They are actually giving away not one, but 2 tickets to Janet Jackson's concert. So what you need to do is take a screenshot, do what you need to do to get this information, or you can, of course, let your fingers do the walking to our group, Unhinged Live with Tilted Halo on Facebook, where you'll see this information posted. As you see, the cover for this event is very, very affordable. And I don't know about you, I actually love to get my croak on. All right. Yes, I say croak, not karaoke, because sometimes we're not always on key. Yeah, I said it. Y'all know Tilted keeps it all the way real here at the platform. And of course, I want to go ahead and say thank you and welcome to every one of you who are in the chat, in the comment street. What's up, brother Orlando Page? I see you calling, putting the player call out to everybody on the Eastern. I really appreciate the work and the assistance you've been giving me behind the scenes as we grow the Mental Impact Entertainment Empire all the more. So look, let me get some water. Karen.
I know the drill. We're going to get our guests on screen side to get ready for the introduction. So we want you all to get ready because we're excited about this conversation that is about to happen, and we don't want you to miss it. So be like our boy OP and go ahead and link everybody that you know that needs to be a part of this conversation and get our comment streets lit today. That's what we want to do. So we're bringing in Dr. Mia McNeil. So excited for you to join us.
Yes. Welcome to the platform, Dr. Mia. How are you, Your Grace?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to be here. The energy feels so good after a long day of work. So thank you for having me.
No problem. So before y'all witness us getting into the Q&A portion of our conversation with Dr. McNeil on tonight, I just want to get y'all a little familiarized with who she is and exactly why I refer to her tonight as Your Grace. Dr. Mia McNeil is a mission-driven leader with 15 years of experience in the delivery of healthcare services. She earned her doctorate degree from Rutgers University in 2016 and is experienced board-certified psychiatric nurse practitioner. Dr. McNeil has served in various capacities. Just one moment, because Google is hating. Dr. McNeil has served in various capacities in clinical and leadership roles and has proven experience in clinical strategic planning, operations management, regulatory compliance, and patient relations in the behavioral health technology sector. Dr. McNeil's experience as an educator spans over a decade and includes teaching roles at Northampton Community College and DeSales University. She is passionate about closing the knowledge gap and the stigma related to mental health disorders and promoting access to services, especially to minoritized groups. As the founder of the Hello Healing Network and a passionate grief advocate, Dr. McNeil is dedicated to promoting access to grief counseling resources. This passion project was born out of her personal experience with loss and a difficulty identifying supportive services for young widows after facing the sudden death of her spouse in 2019. The network offers a centralized directory of expert clinicians and wellness resources targeting grieving individuals and their families, and will officially launch in May 24. So once again, Dr. Mia, thank you so much for agreeing to have this conversation with us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, so I want to go ahead and kick it off with a basic question. If you wouldn't mind, please tell us a little about yourself and how has life been going for you lately? You've been celebrated a lot.
Oh man. So thank you for the introduction. I mean, I have been hard at work for many years to get to this place where I am passionate about mental health, helping people gain access. So I am a psychiatric nurse practitioner by training. I've been afforded the chance of navigating, senior executive leadership roles, always to represent people who look like me, who are not always in these rooms, who have those decision-making, authority to make a difference with the way we care for people, the way we're delivering healthcare. So I've been passionate about making a difference and being a voice for people who are not necessarily invited at those tables. I must say the role that I am the most proud of is being a mom. It might sound cliche, but I literally love being a mother. I feel like it's a blessing, and I know that not everyone gets to have that opportunity. So I don't take it lightly. I have 4 daughters, 16-year-old, almost 18-year-old, a 20-year-old, and a 23-and-a-half-year-old, and I have a grandbaby. Yes, I do. So that has been. They continue to give a lot of meaning to the things that I do, why I push so hard, why I wanted to get on a healing journey. I really believe that parents, we get to teach our children how to do life in many ways. And I think I've been able to act as a model, as a role model for my daughters as we walk through our own, healing journey. What else about me? Something people don't really know often. It doesn't come up often, but I've been feeling more, I don't know, pushed to mention that I am a licensed minister out of Gerda Shallow Church. I had a wonderful opportunity. Yes, shout out to Shiloh, to go through a training, for ministry. And what a blessing it has been to walk through that process. And years later, to really be on the cusp of God really releasing me to doing more ministry-wise. So I love mental health, but I am very much so a woman of faith, and I want my life, my ministry, everything I do to point back to Jesus Christ. So that's just a little bit about myself.
Yes, Dr. Mia, thank you so much for sharing so much about yourself in just those few moments. It's about to get really, really meaty. You did mention that you did participate and are a trained minister. And I do recall making our initial acquaintance as we were both in training, being taught by Minister Tamara Williams. Our condolences go out to Minister Tam's family in her season of grief right now. And I guess it's appropriate that you are here on the platform. Yes, Tam, we are praying for you here at Unhinged. You know, we are a praying tribe here on our platform. And, you know, Jesus is always in control. We yield to the Holy Spirit. And again, it's very appropriate that we have you here having this conversation, Dr. Mia. I can imagine that some of the tools that you gleaned in your ministry training helped you navigate and steer your children through this season. And from what I've observed, it has been, again, a graceful season. So can you talk to me about the root of your why? Was there a standout moment in particular that moved you to begin the work of mapping out the Hello Healing Network?
Wow, that's a beautiful question. The root of my why. You know, God had different plans for my life, evidently. And, you know, when you wake up one day and your spouse is gone and there's no warning, there are no signs, it literally just happened. And for very small context, you know, my husband died in his sleep. So you wake up and your life is changed forever. And I think I had to walk through a process whereby, you know, I had to stop asking God, why did this happen to me? And change the question to, why not? I really believe that God trusted me with this process. He trusted me with this cross. He trusted me because he knew that on the other side, I would make something out of it. And so my faith has been essential and to ground my process. I really thought to myself, if I'm still here, there's a reason. And I had to come to terms with the fact that the 17 years combined that I had with my spouse, those were ordered, but there was so much more. And I told God, I'm going to stick it out because if this is your will, I want to see what happens on the other side. Because I could not think that such a good God would want me to walk through a grieving season without having glory on the other side. And so as I walked through my healing journey, the catalyst for me was a reel that I posted December 2022 that kind of went viral. I really did not know that it was viral until my kids are like, Mom, like this is a lot of views. And I remember connecting with the stories of grievers. And I'm talking not just widowers, but folks who just lost loved ones. And that post literally created community for me overnight. For the first time, I felt seen, I felt validated, I really felt like I was not alone. And we're talking about 10,000 comments and likes and 340 some thousand views. But with every viewer, you know, every other viewer, someone connected to the message and people started just sharing their heart. And at that moment, I thought to myself, I want to do more. I want to be part of the people who are making a difference in that space. And so it took a little bit of time because work, you know, is busy. And this was in my heart. So at some point, God kind of like helped me create space uh, for healing, but also for preparing, you know, what was next. And so Hello Healing is my baby. It's my passion project, and it's really about connecting people to services and to care. As a young widow, I was 39 years old, and I did not see myself out in the world. I mean, you know, I think we're out of sight and out of mind. We don't fit with the married anymore, don't fit with the singles quite. And it's like, so where's my place? Where's my group? Where's my tribe? If I, you know, use that term. And so that's where it was born. You know, I wanted people to feel like, you know, by yourself, that you're seen and that we're not going to forget that this happened to us. It doesn't have to become our identity, but we're not going to forget that this still happened and there's a process and that you're not going to be alone during your journey. You know, we're going to heal together. So that's a little bit my heart behind this vision.
I
Amazing.
absolutely love Dr. Meir, what you were saying. I think Tilted and I can both attest and agree to the lack of resources when we walk through our seasons of grief. Both of us experiencing the loss of our moms, and it really has been something I know that we've continued to talk about because over the last, if we say 3 to 5 years, so many people have experienced loss in a way that is creating a great impact. So I wonder for you, as you shared that story, is it a demographic that you've been drawn to? I know you were talking about the widows, but how has your background as well and your experience shaped the building and the growth for the Hello Healing Network?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. So I definitely wanted to create a space for widows because it did not exist, at least where I am. And I felt drawn to that specific group. I think that as a mental health professional, I had a solid foundation. I am not a psychotherapist, but I was trained in psychotherapy. So, one of the things I did was getting more education because it's one thing to live through something, but it doesn't make you an expert in that thing. And so, I wanted to make sure that I felt better equipped to support that specific demographic. But soon thereafter, I realized that more and more people were asking just for support in that space. And I felt that I would love to have a space for the widowers and the widows, but I really want to make sure that grieving individuals, families feel that, they are also heard. And so that's where the Hello Healing Network kind of expanded as far as our vision and expanding to the point of not just, losses of a person, of a loved one, but non-death losses as well. I mean, a divorce creates loss. There's pet losses that are very traumatic. There, miscarriages, which is a loss of a person, but very often it's a disenfranchised type of loss that is kind of like not really talked about. And so I wanted to make sure that the network addressed says a spectrum of losses, including non-person losses, because we're going through life. Life is happening, and I think I always see opportunities instead of problems. So I saw Hello Healing as an opportunity to do so much more.
Love that. Love that. And you hit on so many different points. And we got a question from our comment streets. Thanks, Queen Rhonda. Appreciate you for sharing. And so it said, what advice can I give my mother who lost her husband recently after 40 years of marriage?
Mhm. Listen, 40 years is a long time to do life with someone, and she has to allow herself to grieve and to feel that pain. It's, depending on the context of when someone passes, people will come up with all types of comments to support and to help cope that are very often not helpful. Losing someone hurts. So I think allowing herself to be honest with the way she truly feels and not hiding those feelings, and then community, to not isolate. Because grieving, once you go through the services and the repast and all the things, people go back to their lives, and it
Mm,
can feel very lonely. I know for myself, I felt very alone in the world. Sometimes I wanted people around, sometimes I did not want people around, but essentially, community is going to make a difference. And I think verbalizing her needs, not expect people to be mind readers and to know what she needs, but to verbalize when she needs support, when she needs time alone, when she needs help with just things like day-to-day things around the house, being able to verbalize those needs and not taking for granted that people understand or know what she needs. So those would be like high level thoughts to share with your mom.
love that. Love that. And we're documenting all of this for our replay viewers so you don't miss a thing, because this is very helpful information that you're sharing, Dr. Mia. No matter what stage we are in life, there is a possibility that we need to face some portion of grief. And some of us are more mature. I never want to say seasoned, because it doesn't matter when the loss happens, in the sense of we have to feel the pain. So I love what you said about that. And it's not so much for consumption, but for the process. And that's something that we found. I know for myself and Tilted, I think writing was one of the things that we did to also assist us in just kind of establishing those grief moments as a process, not like, and I know we are all blessed with the understanding of God heals all wounds and he's here for us. But God does also allow us to feel pain. So one of our challenges, I'll speak for myself, has always been like trying to figure out, is there a such thing as finding a balance while going through this grief journey? And if so, how and where do we find that?
Mm. It's interesting the word balance that you use, because it triggers the word tension for me. I talk about like a tension because very often as we grieve, we're not necessarily in a depressed state. So that means that we have highs, we have lows, we can still experience joy for moments while still grieving deeply. So I find that very often, like, we're living in that tension of being okay and not being okay, and being okay with both. You don't have to pick and choose. If I dress up and I put my face on and got my good hair on, it does not necessarily indicate that I'm having a good day. And I might shed a tear or two. And I don't have to choose about how I'm going to make people feel around me. Like, let me not look sad. It's okay to live within the tension of that grief and that figuring it out and healing. So for me, it's not been about achieving balance. It's been about being very self-aware and accepting my state, like validating my emotions when they happen, and also informing others, because people are not mind readers. I think sometimes we'll feel like people are not there for us, but they don't know how to be there for us. If we look okay, they assume that we are. And so being able to be really vulnerable with the right people, and navigating the ebbs and flows of the loss and the grief, is can be done gracefully. It really can. But I think there has to be we have to be open to that process,
I
because
love it.
healing, I believe, is a choice. It's like if you have,
Mhm.
a headache, a chest pain, it's a choice to make it to the urgent care or to the hospital. No one has to. You don't have to. So stepping into that healing process is, okay, this really hurts, and I don't know what to do with this, and I need help to process, to break it down, to and to allow myself to sit with it. And maybe I can do that by myself. Maybe I do it through journaling. Maybe I do it through community, but essentially making a step towards getting that, and I'll use your word now, Karen, that balance in that process of figuring it out. And for me, it's been 5 years that I've been in my process, and I'm still there. you know I might smell a perfume, a specific cologne, and then I just start tearing up. And it's not necessarily a sad tear, it's just a memory. It's a moment, and
Yeah,
I'm okay with honoring as many of those moments, because I don't want to ever erase the memory of my late husband. He was here, he was in the earth, he was good to me. And all of this, I want to package it and really hold on to it as a good thing. When we pronounce our vows and we say for better, for worse, and for richer, and at the end of the day, I think sometimes we forget that there is that ending,
yeah,
and we have to learn to do endings, not better, but we have to be aware that that's a part of the story too. Unfortunately, it
yeah,
really is. And I would encourage folks, not just with your spouses, but with the people you love, like, love fully, live fully, talk about those things. And sometimes the loss of a spouse, for example, it's not going to be through death, it could be through illness. Overnight, someone gets a stroke, and that's like your life changes forever. And the man you married looks totally different, sounds different, has different needs. Think that as we are, falling in love and doing all the couple things, that's part of it too. Like talking about what the future looks like. What would it look like, babe, if you fell sick? And we have to be a little bit less death phobic and really look at life as a continuum. And the continuum is not all the good, it's all of it. So I'm just gonna pause here because I said a lot.
I
Ooh,
love it. I got
I'm
all of
into it.
the goosebumps. I love it. I love it. I promise. I'm behind the
Georgia
scenes.
girl. I'm sorry.
Listen, you all know that you never know which direction we're going, and hopefully you got your passports tonight. Because, honey, we've been up and down and all around. I am here behind the scenes with all of the goosebumps. One of the things, Dr. Mia, and we've seen you and seen your family grow, but just even hearing you talk, there is such a presence that cannot be denied as you're talking about this in such a heartfelt way. It's like, oh yes, let's get right on that assignment. Let's do the thing so that we feel like we're in a good place. And hopefully our listeners and those who are watching feel that same thing in your own living rooms, in the car, wherever you press play to join us tonight. We hope that this conversation is bringing some meat and substance to your life as well. I know we had one question and another follow-up, Dr. Mia, from Queen Rhonda, where she asked, is it okay to stay away when a person is grieving and asks for you to stay away, or do you continue to sort of show up and support anyway? I know that's a challenging one.
Yes, yes. I think we have to consistently be discerning. There is definitely need for space as people grieve their own way. But I would say that regular check-ins would be advisable, because from one day to the next, someone can go from grieving to despair and spiraling down very quickly. When people are experiencing complex grief where they're really struggling with their own process, we want to stay closer, even if their wish may be to isolate. So I would say regular check-ins, and check-ins can be a phone call. Check-ins can be, hey, I was in the neighborhood and I brought you chicken. You have to get creative sometimes so you don't get on the people's nerves,
Yeah, true.
and they don't tell you off. But I would say that, yes, we have to honor someone's space, but I think we also have to be discerning.
Love that. I love the practical application that you're using to remind us how we can show up, how we can be supportive. Because I think one of the things that really gets under my skin, and I know Tilted the same, is the folks who are not really as considerate as we would hope they would be. And I'm just gonna say it because I'm, no filter tonight, but they just say stupid things. I can't say it another way. I'm sorry. It's like who, where, and what, and I don't know if you've experienced that as well, but I
Oh,
just recall like looking at somebody like, really? That's what you thought was the right thing to come out of your mouth to me during this time. And so just thinking of all those things, I just always remember like praying like, Lord, please don't let anybody come up to me with the goofy statements, because we know it's a challenging time, but we also know that people have difficulty expressing support during difficult times if they, haven't I don't know if the word is rehearsed or practice it, but yeah, just that's always on my mind. Like, please don't let them say nothing stupid, because my face, this
girl.
I can't be on camera because the rest of me is mature. My face is still 21. So I don't know. It's gonna do what it wants to do.
That is amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. So for those of you who are tuning in, you've tuned into Unhinged Live. I'm your host, Nikita Tilted Halo Hansford. I'm sitting alongside my very good girlfriend, Karen Sims-Harrell of Twisted Threads LLC. And joining us tonight is the most gracious one, Dr. Mia McNeil of Hello Healing Network. Thank you so much for all of the awesome gems you've dropped tonight during this conversation. And baby, it's not over. I just needed to take a pause for the cause and acknowledge some of the people that we have participating in these comment streets. I want to go ahead and acknowledge our brother, our big brother almighty, so to speak. Our brother, actor extraordinaire, Roy Schuler, is out there in the comment street showing up and showing his sister some support, as he often does. Thank you so much. Yes. I see our sister Angela Morgan in the comment streets. Thank you so much for what you're doing and the energy that you're bringing on tonight. I want to go ahead and again say thank you to Orlando Page. I see you, Monet Green. Yes, y'all. Bliv Mash is in the building. Mash time. Y'all make sure y'all head on over to all of the streaming avenues, whether it be Apple, Spotify, them people that are not giving me a check just yet. Yeah. And tune into his latest release. All right. He's got his mama singing on there. And y'all are going to hear from him next week in more detail about that project that he's completing. But anyway, follow him, subscribe. Bliv's got some great things happening out here in these internet and Christian hip hop streets. So grateful to be affiliated and connected to you tonight, brother. Back to you, Dr. Mia, because I'm watching the time escape us. And of course, I'm grateful that you've already agreed to stick around with us as we bring in our second guest for tonight. That's right, y'all. We about to do something new. Always advise you to get your passports ready, because you never know where the conversation might go. So Dr. Mia, before we segue and go into our musical break, I want to give you the opportunity to share with our viewers and our listeners where they can connect with you. How can they schedule you? How can they book you for a conversation personally?
All right. So my website is drmiamcneil.com. So that's www.drmiamcneil.com. On the website, you'll notice that I'm not just featuring Hello Healing Network. I do have my private practice, McNeil Psychiatric Services and Consulting. So you can connect if you need psychiatric evaluations, medication management. If you are a therapist, a certified coach, and you'd like to be added to the Hello Healing Network, you can also go to the website under the Hello Healing Network tab and find out more information. On Instagram, I am Dr. Mia. That's IAMDRMIA, and would love to continue this conversation. On different platforms. So if the grief space, healing space, mental health, psychiatry is something that is near dear to your heart, I'm here for the conversation. So that's how you can get connected with me.
We appreciate you, Dr. Mia. And let me again say to you personally, thank you, because I needed to hear you tonight myself. Moving into the season of remembrance. I don't think I need to say much more. And hearing what you've shared tonight has given me a little bit of a fresh wind. Today was not an easy day. So thank you. Y'all are tuned in to Unhinged Live. So Karen got to put on another one of her hats. While she's putting on her hat, turning into DJ such and such on this evening, I want to go ahead and repent, Karen. I got to repent.
We weren't going to let you in the show without the repentance.
I got to own my stuff. Y'all know I'm all about ownership because, listen, I apologize to you, Karen, because I was the great instigator, shenanigator on last week and throwing some jokes your way because I actually got to see what you were looking like, and the Lord has struck in your sister. With a sty in my left eye. Lord God, I was out here looking like Cyclops at Fashion Week. Thank God I know makeup tips. And I know how to smile so that people couldn't see that I legit had a Popeye out here in these streets. Now, there is one person that did see it. And we're going to get into a conversation with her in just a few moments after we enjoy tonight's musical break. Now, you know, I tap into CHH Jams for our weekly music feature. And tonight's feature is from a sister from the west side, much like your girl Tilted Halo. Her name is Simona, and she's actually from Sacramento, California. That's about 35 miles away from where I grew up in the great city of Stockton. Shout out to the 209. So Karen, I'm passing over to you. This one got an R&B vibe, y'all.
I love it. Okay, so we are sharing with you one project from Simona, Hey Destiny, and we're gonna let it speak for itself as we get into it. Remember, turn it up, sway, rock, roll, whatever you do. Make sure that you are responding to DJ Cash in the building. That's what it is. Here we go.
Mountain, oh, something's trying to pull me down. I'm too high, I can't turn back now. Keep it moving, I can't give up now. Destiny's up that dusty road, but we're trekking that way, that way. Oh, steady, steady, steady. Oh, eyes on the prize, I'm not letting go now. I got a glimpse, I can see your greatness. Destiny, God gave you to me. I want what's mine, fear and doubt, get off me. Eyes on the prize, I'm not letting go now. Hey, Destiny, you won't be the depth of me, you won't see. I'm getting weak, I'm okay, it's in the past, I'm running now. Tell you how, ain't slowing down until I find. Sweaty, relentless. Oh, I don't care. Depression, you better go. I've come too far, I'm not turning now. Eyes on the prize, I'm not letting go now. Hey, Destiny, you won't be the depth of me, you won't see. I'm getting weak, I'm okay, it's in the past, I'm running now. Tell you how, ain't slowing down until I find your purpose is according to be a greatness that you might not see. Reaching out and following me against the wind. It's my destiny. Against the wind, it's my destiny. Against the wind, it's my destiny.
Conversations with halos is kind of tilted. The foundation is strong because Jehovah built it. You can feel the spirit and positive energy. Questions asked comfortably like you're talking with family. Get ready to settle in. Wait for the show to begin. Invite a couple of...
All right. We back. You are tuned into Unhinged Live. I'm your host, Nikita Tilted Halo Hansford, sitting alongside my very good girlfriend, Karen Sims, Sims-Harrell of Twisted Threads LLC. And of course, you see the lovely Grace herself, Dr. Mia McNeil of Hello Healing Network. Listen, I know y'all saw that intro, right? We get to remix it and do it our way over here, as we often do. We're going to welcome another one of our tribe members into the conversation. And again, thank you, Dr. Mia, for hanging out with us on tonight. If you want to ask Miss Yolanda any questions, go ahead and use that church finger that we talked about. So for those of you who don't already know, if you're following me in any capacity on my personal page, you often see me going live with my favorite influencer friend, Yolanda Lucas. So we decided on tonight to give Yolanda the floor. We got to showcase who she is as an individual. She's a busy working single mother. So listen, we're about to get into the conversation. Now, Karen, we understand you 6 months past jump in the room, but we also understand that you have great reference material that's still a little fresh in your life with singledom. We'll get into that as part of the conversation a little bit later. So let me go ahead and add Miss Yolanda Lucas to the stage. Yolanda Lucas, personal trainer extraordinaire. Man, I could say so much about you, Queen. So, but thank you so much for making space for us tonight. Welcome again. How you doing tonight, Yolanda?
I'm good. I've just been busy all day. Sis is always busy.
Okay, sis. So we got to get into a little Q&A before we transition this into the single gals conversation, because Dr. Mia posted something that was just mind-blowing as far as a conversation she participated in recently. And I want to see both of y'all, what information y'all can share to help a single chick like me out here in these dating streets. So first, Yolanda, there's something about you I never clarified. Senior Detective Lucas. What's that about?
I use Senior Detective Lucas because my job, I was a senior at one point. So I just came up with that name, Senior Detective Lucas, because when I came into, Stop and Shop, they made me a senior. So I used to do people's schedules. I used to train people and stuff like that when we first started. And then later they took those positions away. So that's why I came up with that Senior Detective Lucas.
All right, because if for those of you who just heard Stop and Shop, and this is basically where we really connected, not realizing that you and I have been worshiping together at Shiloh for years. I knew you looked familiar, and we just have our worlds collided when we were both going through a strange season in our lives. And I'm grateful that God put you in that building to be a support to me. We could be a support to one another as we both walk through a particular season of healing. So I want to ask you something, because you're a single gal out here in these streets. And we often have conversation about the importance of doing your investigations on whoever you might want to see. Can you give the single ladies some tips on what they could do to be prepared for anything before they hit these dating streets?
Prepared. It's this dating thing now is, to me, it's scary, and I feel that a lot of us single women need to be careful. We need to pay attention to the words that these men are saying to us, especially like, say if they trying to move too fast, right? Like online. Like, because a lot of people, they connect with people online. They want to meet up with you or whatever. But when they trying to move too fast, they want to see you too fast. That's a red flag. For me, I think you need to have conversations with him for a minute. You need to know where his mental state at, because eventually he's going to say something that you don't like, right? And then that's when you be like, you know what? And you just cut him off. because I experienced that, where I had conversation with this one guy and he kept pressuring me, like he wanted me to come to his house. I said, no, I'm not going to your house. Nobody's coming to mine, right? And if I was to meet you, we would have to meet somewhere. But I need to have conversations with you for a while before I even, meet you in person, But he he just kept saying stuff to me, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just this ain't gonna work for me, And the guy ended up calling me out my name because I told him the type of person that I would date, because I'm into health and fitness. And that's the type of man I would want to be involved with. I don't want to date somebody who got bad eating habits. I don't. I want somebody who's going to take care of his health. And I'm not coming into a relationship with somebody who have all these health issues because I don't want to be by his bedside. Whoever I date, I want to be able to enjoy that person. If something happened to him while we're together, that's something different. You know what I'm saying? Then I'll be there for that person. But I'm not coming into something. You got all these health issues. But anyway, the guy tells me, well, I don't want nobody rushing me into anything. I said, I'm not rushing you into anything. All I'm saying is this is the type of person I would date. Now, if you're not into that, that's fine. You could find somebody that's like you. That's just it. But just be mindful, ladies. Like they trying to rush you to see you. They want to wine and dine you so quickly and stuff. That's just all red flags. Trust me. I had my experience with that. Nikita already know. I dated somebody. I thought it was all good. I went to high school with this guy. We stayed in contact every now and then. We chatted on the phone for about 3 months before he actually saw me again in person because he didn't see me for like years. The guy was there for me, took me on vacation, was giving me money, doing a lot until he degraded me.
Oh,
yeah.
Now that's something that I often reference as part of the love bombing. And I see that Rhonda posted a comment that refers to it as microwave dating. Now, I'm not a fan of microwave dating at all. My whole thing is, can we talk? Straight, shout out to Tevin for singing the song. Can we talk? Because you are absolutely correct, Yolanda. A lot of things come out in Revelation. If you just listen to these brothers, some of us have the extreme gift of discernment and we can hear between the lines. Now, in hearing between the lines, Yolanda, I know that you are masterful at gathering different protective items that are discreet. Is there anything that you can recommend a single girl have on her person should she make the decision to go out and actually connect with someone? And what are the things that she should have on her person, if anything? And would you advise them, where would you advise these young ladies to meet people specifically?
I would say at a restaurant.
Okay.
I would say I would definitely date. I would definitely meet them, or maybe at a coffee shop. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to go somewhere or maybe a diner or something like that. Nowhere that's too expensive. The first time you're meeting up with the person, you could go out for a cup of coffee, right, and have a conversation with them. But for being protective, having something, you talking about on you?
Yes, on you. I think
I have mace that I do keep in my
Don't ask me.
I was getting ready to make reference to Susie May. I was getting ready to make
Listen, Susie May.
I do carry mace in my bag, so that's something to have on you. And wait a minute, let me show you something.
Oh, see, we got a little show and tell.
I got. Listen, ladies, listen. I found this on TikTok. Right, TikTok is my thing.
TikTok shop will get you every time.
But this is I didn't put it together, but it's a key ring. Y'all see that? This is a little key. So you know what's inside that little key?
Yes.
Okay. This came with it. You know what you can do with that?
That looks
I
like a
know it's
weapon.
pointy.
Huh? It's pointy. So just in case, it's pointy. Okay.
It's pointy.
But it's just saying. And then
Wait a minute. Time out. Because you're going through this a little too fast. We got this little fluffy thing.
Unassuming, very unassuming and not dangerous.
But it can be cute. I guess it's cute. It's just a little cute.
Okay, help me out here.
But you
I'm
don't
a little
have
slow.
everything. But this is what I got off TikTok. This is something. And when I did a live on TikTok, I'm like, listen, ladies, you can buy this for yourself. You can buy it for your teenage daughters. Because you need to carry something on you, okay? And the keychain also comes with this little.
I ain't got time for all that. Listen, Susie May, me and her ride out. We don't have no issues out here. So true
Susie
story.
May, I know who Susie May is. Okay.
Susie May is the name of my 9mm. Okay, so if Susie May got to come out, I name her. She beautiful and purple and all the things. So I'm gonna share. When my husband and I first met, we met on Facebook dating. One of the things that I was very adamant about was while we were having those conversations, I have a Google Voice number. So you're not never calling me, call Google and then they're going to connect us. So that's one thing. So you feel like you've got some control over your own safety. Now, I tell people this story and they think that I'm crazy, but our first date in person was at Cracker Barrel on purpose because I knew that if I didn't like what I saw when I met him, I would excuse myself as if I was going to the ladies' room and then he wasn't never going to see me again. Now, I told him about this story probably the week after we actually met in person. And folks just were like, well, you know, we got all these lists of where you should and should not go for dating. Cracker Barrel is the safest place because you literally, excuse me, I'm going to go powder my nose. And then you hightail it out of there. Now, listen, my car was already parked, so if I need to make a quick exit, I did all the preparation. He turned out to be a wonderful guy. I married him. But just in case it wasn't going to go that way, I made the preparations for if the person that I was on the phone with might have been catfish. Because before I met my husband, I was also catfished by a person, and I can't even remember. I think it was OK Cupid tilted. And it was a gorgeous man in the pictures, you know, and I knew that I was being catfished, but the story was just so entertaining. I could not step away from the catfishness that was going on. And so I stayed, and my family was like, well, if you know this person not real, why would you? I'm like, let me tell you what today's story is. So long story short, within 1 month, he was in love with me, had gone overseas to a modeling set and got into a life-threatening car accident, and he needed to pay
$500.
well, honey, that's where I got off the boat. Okay, so I know that there are many stories, and sometimes they are very, very sad. My story was like, Lord, I give up. Just send whoever you want me to be at that point. Send them, Lord. I'm just going to sit here, and I'm not going to do nothing else. But it was a wonderful story that he gave me. Of course, he had no connection, no family. Former wife and I think child had like passed in a car accident. It was a wonderful story. He was a very talented catfisher, and I appreciate the time that he spent on making up that doggone lie to tell me over the time. But that's one of my favorite dating stories. Like you may get catfish out here. Just be prepared. Like, you know,
I can't breathe.
That's all.
I can't breathe right now. I see the church finger, Yolanda. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. Experience those conversations too, baby, with the catfishing. But I just be waiting for them to ask me for money. I be entertaining it, right? But just for the entertainment. And I'm like, I'm waiting for him to ask me for some money. I say, dude, you ain't nothing but a scammer, and stop scamming people. I just entertain. I think some of us be entertaining them for some reason.
It was me. I did it. I'm sorry.
You know
Yes,
what?
I did.
The two of you are something tonight. I appreciate this joy and laughter. I guess we have have segued into views from the petty pew on tonight. Yes, I have my motherboard fan out because I absolutely cannot right now. Dr. Mia, how are you in this conversation? Are you yet holding on, sis?
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I do have some thoughts about something that was said earlier. You know, us women, we have this tendency of talking a whole lot, and we just want to say all these things. And I think as we're meeting these potentials, like being really quiet and just letting them do all the talking, and not presenting ourselves like a victim. You know, all the sad stories and all the cat fishing and all, because, you know, when we present ourselves as vulnerable, it's almost like we're giving them just all this material to use so they can, you know, really do what they do, which a lot of these people are not honest and they have this agenda. So I think just being really careful about how much we share and what we choose to share early on. You know, early on, it's not time to talk about all your trauma and all the ex-boyfriend that did you wrong, because it's really sending a message that I need you to rescue me. And these guys are up to no good. I mean, they're just going to use that to their advantage when they mean you no good. So, you know, less talk, more listening, and definitely not, you know, showing up as a victim looking to be rescued.
Listen, you know, I would actually agree with that. Okay, because that tends to be my dating style when I choose to entertain male company. Most people think I'm this person that they see on screen when I have to turn on and be tilted halo. So when they get to spend time with me, I'm just very quiet and observant. I'll participate in a conversation that sparks dialogue from me, because I've taken complete ownership of I don't have to participate in every conversation I'm invited into in my personal world. So I implement that in my dating world because, as you said, Dr. Mia, my personal experience in dating, learning, hey, don't tell these jokers about your trauma because they will manipulate and try you. And the next thing you know, boom, you are at the side of the road once yet and again, a wounded bird asking God why, when of course you ignored the red flags, you know? So we have to use a lot of wisdom as we move and navigate these dating streets. I want to go ahead and segue right back to you, Miss Yolanda. I got to ask the question because we've all had this experience, but you won't go. All right. What advice would you give to the single dating mother, the mother with children? What singular piece, one piece of advice would you give?
Don't bring them to your house. Don't bring them to your house.
All right.
Like, you have to date them for a very long time and don't leave them alone with your kids. Because some people wear masks. You just don't know. And lately, you know, it's like I've been seeing a lot of stuff happening to a lot of women, not only women, but things happen to men too. Some of these men think they're safe in these streets too, which they're not, because women set them up too. But just do not bring them to your home. You really have to try to get to know that person. Date them for a long time before you even introduce them to your kid. And if you do introduce them to your kid, just don't leave them alone.
I can dig it. I can dig it. Karen, I'm not asking you this question because, you know, you started dating your husband and all your kids was grown. So they didn't really have a say in what you did.
14,
but see, mine was strategic and tilted. You know, the Lord moved me away from my bodyguard slash children, so that I could find this space for me to be able to date in, because it wasn't happening while they was around. Let's just put it right out there. All of them were already 5 foot, almost 6 feet. And I'm trying to date, and they like, no, what you looking at my mama for? Well, okay, so it worked out well that I left them right there in the Lehigh Valley, and came down here, and God is a promise keeper. You know, we're laughing and we're joking. God knows the desires of our heart. It does require all of the diligence that Yolanda you mentioned, but also being able. I think Dr. Mia, you mentioned it, having that discernment to be like, not so thirsty is the thought that came to my mind, because it's also your own self that you have to protect. Like, even if they never meet your kids, I mean, we didn't wait that long. I promise. He knew he was ready to get married in about 6 weeks, and I told him, slow down, partner, because he had not met any of my children. So to me, I was traditional in that sense. So I agree with you, Yolanda, that a meeting has to happen for that. Yeah, all of the, and when all else fails and you scared to show Susie May, just put a bullet on the table. They'll get the rest.
Wow. This is so much violence amongst the people of God
I
tonight.
don't have to use her. The bullet on the table, they get it. Okay, no problem. We ain't messing with her.
Nothing wrong with being protecting yourself. Dr. Mia,
It's a
help me, please. What's up, Yolanda?
I want to say something else. And, the women out here who have daughters, like, you have to talk to them too, far as meeting guys online, going to meet them. I just shared something on my page, I think today. This girl, 19 years old, she met up with this guy, 33 years old, right? She's no longer here.
Wow.
She went to go meet him at a restaurant or something. Reading the article, she ended up going to his house. See, that part is sad, but I wish she wouldn't have went to his house. And what he did to her was horrible. She was a college student. He's 33. They got him. He's in jail, though. It's on my page, and I'm like, this is an eye-opener. Like, you have to talk to your daughters, too, about meeting up with these men.
Yeah.
Like,
and human trafficking is a real thing. I just traveled over the weekend, and we have all of the rest stops, and that, not all of them. I can't remember where I was. I think I was in Virginia and Maryland, and it had specifically like, stop human trafficking. If you see something, report it as soon as you can, because it's a real thing now. We laugh and joke about the dating scene, but some of this is just, we understand that the criminal activity is on a whole new level that many of us never had to deal with. And so I agree with you, like, we have to equip ourselves, but also equip our girls and our boys, because now it's just so rampant that we don't even know, and certain things that we're not mindful of, we see, and it's just like, oh, okay, that was strange, but maybe it was something else that I didn't know. So being able to, I'm gonna say it, I'm a Karen, I'm allowed, be a Karen sometimes, and go ahead and be nosy. See the church finger, Dr. Mia.
So I was just going to add, so, I mentioned early on I have 4 daughters. So, always on high alert, these boys out here in these streets. And, luckily my daughters and I were very open in our conversations. But one thing that we've implemented for all of our safety is using, one of those apps that, helps track your location.
Good.
And as a parent, I don't even do it to kind of like monitor them. It's really just for safety. Even they get to know where I am, so they don't have to worry about where is mom, when is she coming home, is she's on her way, and same thing with the girls, and that's just to protect us. And on that app, you can also add other people, so friends, for example. So if you're going out and you're meeting someone for the first, second, third, fifth time, it's not a bad idea to let other people know, like, hey, just keep me on your radar. just simple things like this could make a difference. And I haven't seen your page, Yolanda, but I read a very similar story. And this sister, young girl, beautiful, lost her life. This man dismembered her. I mean, it was very extreme. And so, we really want to take heed and learn from, other people's demise, because there's really that trafficking is real, but there's a lot of people who do not know the Lord and they're on some other stuff. And we really, really have to be careful.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I know I shared one of my experience where a gentleman was pushing up a little too hard, too fast. And my Shanana said, girl, let your fingers do the walking into background check. And I actually enlisted the help of another single sister who helped me find his entire court docket, baby. And the entire court docket that he did not share, baby. Of course, because I likes to read, I don't wear trifocals for no reason. All right. I got to read it and I saw where brother had been incarcerated, and at one point had submitted a request for compassionate release. Now, those of you who are familiar with the term compassionate release, that's usually when someone is physically ill. So as I got in deeper into the details, baby, I found out that he had the human immunodeficiency virus, also known out here in the world as HIV. Brother was HIV positive. And so, of course, we love the blessed Android phone that I made this wonderful investment in. It took nothing for me to do a little screenshot and be like, oh, hey, how you doing? Photo sent, is this you? Is this you? See, because y'all know I'm pretty straight with it. And I unfortunately, I didn't get a response from the brother. And that was actually a good thing. Because as Dr. Mia, Karen, I think the three of us shared the singular thought. We must use discernment as we go out here in these dating streets. A couple of y'all mentioned that it's not just the women who are endangered out here, but it's happening to men too. And if you ever go on to the Tubi network, there are quite a few different movies that kind of depict real life situations. One in particular that you shared with me, Yolanda, and I did go check it out. What's the name of that one that you made sure your son watched?
Oh my goodness. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
What happened to that guy in the park?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna give you all a brief background on what happened to this gentleman in the park, and it was actually based on a true story, because this has been happening in Atlanta quite often within the male contingency. Dude goes down to the basketball court, wants to shoot some hoop because he's physically fit. Very nice looking young man, very friendly towards him out there on the court, and they engage in a game of one-on-one. And I guess old boy was reading him the whole time, and he managed to hand him a bottle of water that was laced with some form of drug that basically knocked him out. And while that man was unconscious, the perpetrator basically took his manhood. And the story takes a turn where we see this man spiral mentally in such a way that he basically risked his own freedom in an effort to seek vengeance on the person who took his most precious thing, or what he valued most about himself, his manhood. So this is for men and women alike. I'm pretty old school. I was raised from the tribe of when you go out, you buy your own drink. Don't let anybody hand you a drink. If you put your drink down and you take your eyes off of it, even for a moment, go ahead and purchase yourself a new one, or go smile at someone real pretty so they'll buy a new one for you. But in your presence, make sure the bartender is putting it directly in your hand if that's what you choose to partake in. We have a responsibility as a human tribe to make sure that we have these conversations and share our testimonies Many of us love the Lord, but we are actively dating. And again, this goes back to my favorite scripture of all time. We overcome the adversary by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimonies. So hopefully something you heard in this dialogue tonight helps you be able to better identify when you could be possibly sitting in the middle of a powder keg in the dating world, because catfishing is real, and it's a whole lot of new drugs out here in these streets. I can't even pronounce the name of them all. Okay, there's too many syllables. It's just too many syllables. So yes, you're tuned in to Unhinged Live. It's Tilted Halo at the helm right now, sitting alongside my good girlfriend Karen Sims, sitting in with two lovely queens, her grace herself, Dr. Mia McNeil, and of course, influencer extraordinaire, personal trainer, my girl, Yolanda Lucas, Cupcake Fitness, senior detective. Oh, so check it out. There's something that's happened in the news that kind of made me go, what's that about? Can we have a conversation about the fact that Orenthal James Simpson crossed on over to the other side? Yes, I'm making reference to O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson passed away over the course of this past week, and I'm just watching my timelines to see what would be said, if anything. And I don't know about y'all, but I noticed that there was a whole holy hush on my timeline when it came to people giving commentary, sharing thoughts and prayers in the passing away of O.J. Simpson. I bring this to the conversation tonight because we often hear cancel culture. We know why O.J. Most recently became famous, of course, but he was also acquitted. So a question came to mind. Y'all know I got to ask. I'm like, what's really going on? Have we become a society that lacks some passion in such a way that we can't say nothing? Is it that people didn't have anything positive to say about him? Or has he been canceled? Can I get a church finger? Who wants to help me work through this situation? I can't see Karen. She probably looking at me with the side eye.
I ain't got no side eye. I rest in peace, OJ. But God bless. God bless. God bless.
I can't with you, Karen. That's it. You got nothing.
Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. There you go.
He was tired.
Well.
He was weak.
Yes,
he was torn. So you know what? Let me stop.
My hand is shaking. I got my church wave in the air. Come on.
It was a white Ford. It was a white Ford that we all remember being plastered on each and every small screen, large screen, big screen across the nation and perhaps even the world when we witnessed the unfortunate events that happened in O.J. Simpson's life that day. And it's just unfortunate that he was unable to outlive the stigma that was associated with that day. But y'all know I'm a humanist at heart. I can't neglect that he actually he left a legacy, y'all, that inspired someone until he was no longer eligible to be on the front of that Wheaties box, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. So because I'm a humanist and I will never disregard anyone's legacy, because that could be me on the other side. Maybe one day, the Lord will take Lord, please never take your hand off your servant. But in the moment that I do, I wouldn't want anybody to disregard some of the good things that I've done in my life. Isn't this similar to something? Let's use Michael Jackson as an example. We celebrate him as the king of pop.
True.
But even while he was yet with us, we knew that man was troubled. And yet and still, we still moonwalk. Some of us even still have our Michael Jackson coats and glitter gloves and penny loafers with the quarters in them. I didn't put pennies in mine. I put quarters in my loafers. That was different. But you get the gist.
I think they still do Michael Jackson concerts, don't they?
Yes, the impersonators are doing what they do, but they're still honoring the legacy, even though he was accused of much, in relation to violating young boys. Are we gonna cancel his catalog, y'all?
The catalog is worth a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
Sometimes it's like who's driving the narrative. It's unfortunate, but that cancel culture, it applies most of the time unless someone is driving the narrative that shifts the paradigm. Another question that we may want to ask, though, Tilted, is, how do we want to be remembered? At the end of the day, those decisions, those choices, those unfortunate situations, have placed, Michael Jackson or OJ in, that cancel or sub cancel category. But what about us? How do we want to be remembered? How are we living our lives? And I think we can learn something just from that silence that you talked about.
Amen. Thank you for that, Dr. Me. That was it. That's the post. Don't need to say anything else. So listen, you're tuned into Unhinged Live. I'm watching the clock and I'm trying to act right because we got to do better as we continue to move forward. And as I make mention of that, I want to go ahead again and give a shout out to our Mental Impact Entertainment family. Those of you who are in the know that Karen and I are busy behind the scenes preparing ourselves for yet another launch. We got something coming straight at you in a couple months. We're working diligently behind the scenes building for the directorship of Mental Impact Radio. So for any of you who are interested in having a show on Mental Impact Radio, guess what? You want to go ahead and inbox myself or Karen Sims. Reach out to us. I have actually begun the vetting process today. So earbuds stay on charge. If you got something to say, if you got something to share with the world that is going to impact positive change in others' lives, holla at us for consideration for a time slot on Mental Impact Radio. And as I'm showing love to our Mental Impact Entertainment family, shout out to the brothers getting it in all the way heavy at CHH Jams. We appreciate you. I appreciate all of the shoulder shaking that I am able to do listening to good, holy hip hop music.
Yay.
All right. CHH Jams, where the bars come from the word. We have the power to take back from the enemy any and everything he thinks he stole from us. Thank God we walk in the confident assurance that everything here belongs to our daddy God. And by our birthright, we have the responsibility to take it back so that our children can have something to build them up positively. So check it out. I'm getting ready to move it along. But before I do that, thank you again, Dr. Mia. Thank you, Yolanda. We're getting ready to receive. We can't see her beautiful face tonight because she is in a swift transition. But get ready to receive yet another hefty meal. I got paper towel and I did not finish my beef patty because I need room for yet another reflection of purpose. Go ahead and feed my spirit. Master Life Coach Karen Sims of Twisted Threads.
Here we go. Listen, as always, I try to come at you with the title. And today, it's a reminder and reflection of purpose is for you to big up yourself. Many of us, as we are about to enter into graduation seasons and we're celebrating the babies and the middle school folks and the high school folks and the college and graduates, we know how to celebrate others, but many of us have not taken the opportunity to figure out how do we celebrate ourselves. We've often heard a lot about self-care, but there's also a lot to be said about congratulating yourself, being the first person to say we did that. I did that. A lot of times, in practical terms, I often use the word we because I know that a lot of the things that I've accomplished have come in collaboration with other folks. So here's a practice that we had to kind of take on for me, and I share with other people. So that we is the real we, not just the tribe in my head. But I had to say to myself, I did that thing. So I raised those children. A lot of times we know that there was a village involved. Maybe we are not bigging up ourselves, and shout out, I'm gonna put you out there, Queen Rhonda. Shout out to Queen Rhonda, because I love the synergy and the new relationships that we continue to build. And she was one of those who graced the runway during the Lehigh Valley Fashion Week. And she shared some insights about that fact of having that confidence to be able to exude it. Now, if y'all seeing Rhonda on the pages, you see that she is anything, including a bright star of royal beauty. But sometimes we got to take a moment to dig in deep and say, you know what? I can do that. And now here's the thing that's the biggest thing, because y'all know I'm here for the cake. It is now she can say, I did that. And many of you are one big up away from saying, I did that. So go ahead, big up yourself today. Encourage yourself, as one psalmist used to put it, to make sure you're staying on the path for you to complete the goal. I'm always here talking about goal success because it's required for us. My personal thing, I'm going to say it several times. I'm here for the cake. And if you don't big up yourself and get to the you did that, then that means I can't get no sprinkles or cake. So I'm totally individually motivated, but want to motivate you with this reflection of purpose. Big up yourself. And if it's not a big shout out for yourself, take it in small increments. You know what? I do this, Yolanda, as you are now all of our fitness coach, is I got my 10,000 steps today. I got my walk in. I got my vitamin D. I drank my half a gallon or gallon plus of water, whatever that small thing is. And then what you will see is progress continuing over time. We talked about microwave dating, but many of us use a microwave mentality as we set goals. Remember, celebrate the small things, but we come in here for the big win, because I would like a 4-tier cake if we could have strawberry and banana filling in the middle. However we get it, make sure you stay motivated. Big up yourself. Tilted, handing it back over to you. Hopefully that was enough to carry you over to your breakfast in the morning. Or you might have some cake right now. I'm not sure.
Your girl got a cookie on standby. I got a problem. Okay. I asked the Lord to deliver me at one point, and he did just that. But every now and again, I dabble with the demon called a cookie. All right. So y'all just be grateful that it's one cookie and not a whole sleeve. I'm celebrating my small wins, y'all. This is Unhinged Live. I'm Tilted Halo, sitting alongside my good girlfriend, Karen Sims-Harrell of Twisted Threads LLC. Thank you, Karen. I am absolutely full from that right on time word. Thank you, Yolanda. And thank you again, Your Grace, Dr. Mia. It has been a privilege. Thank you. And I hope that you won't think it robbery to come back again, because you are a wealth of information, and you can talk with us about so much. I did not even scratch the surface with you tonight, girlfriend. Yes, ma'am.
May I just quickly let you all know that my first book is coming out very soon. So be on the lookout for Chosen. I won't say more, but we're going to start pushing a little more information. So May 19, big book launch and the official launch of the Hello Healing Network. So stay tuned for that. I did that.
Congratulations. You did that, Dr. Look, we turn up over here.
Yes.
Listen, we gotta listen. That's right. Divine Sisterhood on display at its finest on tonight. Oh, I am so honored for yet another opportunity to encourage you all for one more time to just be. Continue to be who you are authentically, because all the places you will go when you take the time to relax, relate, recover, and heal. Just be. It's your girl, Keita. We actually getting done on time tonight. I'm proud of us. We did that, y'all.
We did that.
Goals. Okay. Until next week, y'all. We got another surprise. Power coming to the platform next week. Levy. Oh, yeah, I put it out there. Okay. Till next time. We are out, y'all. Peace.